I fixed the bug that was crashing the server. And there's multiple causes for it. Memory corruption. I let it run. I scaled up the simulation to a bigger server to just to test to make sure things are running. I scaled it up to 2,000 particles, and it was going pretty smoothly. Only about 20% usage of the CPU on a 8-core 3.7 gigahertz. What you're seeing here is like it's very much still pretty rough, but when I got up this morning, all the plasma blobs disappeared. So I filled the world with these big ass blobs, and I added some hot ones. So either they melted somehow or there was some glitch. But that the mechanic for these blobs is not fully for the plasma blobs is not fully like baked in. It's still like glitchy, and it does weird stuff, like as you can see. If it's anyway, somehow it disappeared, but for some reason when I go into my network explorer, I see that the particle count is the same as it was last night when it was what exists. So it might be the case that the plasma units are still they're still in the server, but their positions are like maybe corrupted. So I have to see if I can pause it and debug it to check to see if their positions are just like out of bounds. I can run some scripts, maybe, or yeah, the tooling is very lacking right now for like live debugging, but that's something that I definitely need to like keep iterating on. It's just there's a lot of facets, but I have to figure out how I can debug that issue just to make sure I can either ignore it. I suppose I can ignore it and just refactor the plasma logic, because the plasma logic is still not finished, so that all the other particles were okay. They went into a normalized state. Like for example, there is no normalized state for the plasma basically, because it will let's see if I can show this. Oh, it's okay. So there is no normalized, like this is this normalized state for like the agents. So the agent particles, they're like they're precursors to player particles. It's like the first iteration of that. Eventually these will be the particles that players are gonna use to play with, but yeah, and so they're not like, so what we're building here is I'm building all the blocks. So at first it looks just like particles, and then it's like blobs, and then after the blobs it's more like creatures and like actual like objects. So that's so right now what you're seeing is it's like particles, but they're more blobs now. But they reached a normalized state, and then so did the pods. These pods, they for some reason they just like they swarm to. These things are glitched too. They're just like a first version of these tiny little creatures that are going to be swimming around the environment, and they're going to swim like between the plasma, and like there's going to be this plasma that's going to be basically it's going to look kind of like this, but right now it's kind of still in debug mode, I suppose. But they're going to look more like you're going to have hot plasma that's going to be like kind of popping out and spawning out of the cold plasma. If I can increase the temp, so it's gonna be like inside like that. So there is like this idea of blobs inside of blobs, and both of these particles are the same type. So the hot plasma is the same type as the cold plasma, but the hot plasma is its temperature increases. So when the cold plasma goes into certain conditions, stop that. It will spawn, like that's glitchy right now. What you're seeing. Once it reaches a certain size, it will start, inside of it, it will start spawning these hotter kind of blobs inside of it, and then they will merge inside of it, grow into bigger ones, and float to the edge, but they won't escape. And so once they're at the edge, they will, inside of them, they will spawn even more blobs, and then they'll kind of like just eject, like spray out this hot plasma out of like these volcano like structures. So that's kind of the vision I'm going for there, and the mechanic. And then once it spits out the hot plasma will start circulating around the environment. And so yeah, it's like basically there's a lot of work that still needs to be done, because Pod Run, which is this game right here, when you enter the website, you just have like a play button, and then you can press tab, and then you'll have all of the games right here. Right now it's just gonna be one game until there's like a bunch of players playing it. At least I fixed the bugs that cause the server to crash and stuff, like the memory corruption bugs. That took like a few days. Now I have to go back and flesh out the plasma mechanics. And so that's like the main issue right now, is making sure that the plasma is circulating in the environment. So it's spawning, there's this mechanism that spawns it. So everything has to be procedural. So that means like things need to spawn into this alive kind of universe, and then they have to evolve and change over time and circulate around the environment. And there's like different like phases of matter that plasma has. It has hot phase, it has a warm phase, and then it has like a cold phase. And so it has to switch between these different phases and circulate around the environment and reach some sort of like circular cyclic normalized state. And once that's like stable, debugged, I can start iterating on the other components of that and building on top. And so that's basically reaching a cyclic normalized state with the plasma mechanics. That's the problem that I'm trying to solve right now.